Here for the Owls, associate head coach Aaron McKie. Temple is 17-7 overall, 7-4 in the American Athletic Conference. They host SMU on ESPN3 on Wednesday. Coach McKie, tell us a little bit about the Owls heading into the final 4 weeks of regular season play.
Well, we've hit a rough patch as of late. In our last 5 games, we're 2-3, and we talked about being at the upper echelon of the conference in the beginning of the year, and it's a tough conference from top to bottom, and now we find ourselves in the middle of the pack, and we got to play catch up. I think with Houston and Cincinnati creating some separation from some of the other teams, but everybody else is. The teams that's in the middle of the pack are still in striking distance, and we feel like we can make a pretty decent run down the stretch.
Thank you, Coach. At this time, we'll move right on to our media questions.
Take our first question from Mark Naducci with the Philadelphia Inquirer. Please go ahead.
Hey, Aaron. I wanted to know, can you kind of give me your evaluation of Justin Hamilton and the progress he's made?
How you doing, Mark?
Good.
Yeah, Justin, he's coming along. I mean, he's an inexperienced player right now, but we have all the confidence in the world in him, and he's a talent. He's a guy that can play around the basket with his back to the basket. He can step out. He can make a mid-range shot. He's comfortable with handling the ball, and so we just got to continue to work with him and get him to understand defensive schemes and where he's supposed to be. And, as time go on, we hoping that he can evolve into a guy that can be a pretty decent rim protector. But we love his length. We love his athleticism. And I think he's good breath of fresh air for us right now at this point of the season.
One other thing you touched on, this is a little tough time for you. How about this game with SMU? How important it is and what you see out of the Mustangs?
Well, for us, every game is important. Those guys always play hard. They run pretty good offense. They have some guys that can score the ball. So, again, we come in with our mindset. It's more about us, nothing against the other teams. When we come into games, it's more about us. But we have to do a much better job of rebounding the ball and keeping teams out of our paint. And that's something that this SMU team does pretty good. They move well without the ball. They're not the biggest team in terms of size, but they move pretty well, and they have some athletic wings and some guys that can get things done out on the floor.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Mark. Yep.
Coach McKie, the Owls have had a great deal of success away from Liacouras this season. 8 wins away from your home arena and 6 true road victories this season. What's been the key to Temple's success away from home?
I think we've made our money on turning teams, getting out in transition and getting the easy baskets, getting to the free throw line. That's something we talked about all summer, that we have to make a more concerted effort in getting to the free throw line and getting points, from there. So it's really difficult to try to scoring teams in a half-court set every time down the floor. And we felt like we had the athleticism, we had the speed to just pick teams up full court and turn teams over and generate offense that way. And I thought early on in the year we did a pretty good job of that. And I think we're trying to get back to doing a little bit more of that in conference play. And hopefully it helps us as time moves on during the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, Coach. We appreciate your time here this morning. We do have time for one last question. I believe we'll turn that over for it.
We'll take our next question from Brian Murphy with the Orlando Sentinel. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks. Coach McKie, you have one of the best free throw shooters in the nation with Shiz, and you were a good free throw shooter in your time in the NBA. Temple leads the conference in free throw shooting. So I just want to ask, what makes a really good free throw shooter? Because it seems like something that everyone should be at least proficient at, but are not. So really, what has made not only your team, but Shiz, yourself, good free throw shooters?
I think it's just the focus. I think free throw shooting is one of those lost arts in basketball now. I think your better shooters at the free throw line are guys that really concentrate on it, and they look at it as those are easy points that I can get to help my team or to help myself. I just don't think teams and people really take it as serious as, you know, when I was growing up playing, it was very serious. You know, I always thought about being at that free throw line down 2 or down 1, and I had to shoot those free throws, and that was my level of focus that I tried to use to motivate myself. Now, I wasn't a great free throw shooter like Shiz Austin is, but I was okay. I was decent, and he takes pride in his free throw shooting. If he missed a free throw, it's like a shock not only to him but everybody else. And so that's an important weapon for us to have down the stretch of games because we're comfortable with him having the ball in his hands, and if he gets fouled, we feel like those are 2 points that you could put on the board for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And again, thank you, Coach McKie, for your time. Good luck this week, and we'll talk with the Owls again next month.